On this week's show, I get a semi-on as I watch Ready Player One.
There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere. Except the Oasis.
And I talk about something that is as slimy and creepy as its owner. I talk about Facebook.
People have a very unique relationship with Facebook, where, on most other services, their privacy is an important thing, but on Facebook, privacy is central.
And like a bad colonoscopy, I go into the Badlands.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. A colonoscopy is painless.
Table is painless.
Stay tuned.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers and geeks alike. People who like playing arcade games, people who like visiting the 80s, time travelers, virtual realityers, androids, and sex bots. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast.
Sex. Do you know what? Sex bots are into everything nowadays.
Yeah, they are. As you can hear, I've got Nigel with me. Say hello, Nigel.
Hello, Nigel.
And the only man who can only be described as large, it's Keith. So hello, Keith.
I take offence at that. I'm going to do you now.
Oh yeah?
Keith, you're large.
That's a hate crime.
Oh, you're in Thailand, mate. You can't report it.
Oh dear. Hello, people.
Hello, people. Okay, just before we start and we get on with the rundown and whatnot, got a little bit of housekeeping. A very nice gentleman contacted us on Facebook just before the previous podcast. We'll call him Gray, just for convenience. He wrote a nice disclaimer, shall we say, which we might use.
And some decent gifts as well.
Hang on. I got a bone. I've got a small smidgen of a bone to pick with that disclaimer. Only a small one. My internet, just because I'm in Thailand, you all assume that my internet connection is the worst. I got fucking fibre into the house. I got a better internet connection than two of you combined.
Mate, your internet connection is just, held together by rabbits.
No, it's fucking not. I got 250 meg one-on-one contention fibre into the house.
Yeah, we believe you.
Yeah.
It's costing me an arm and a leg. It's awesome. Seriously, I have never downloaded torrents so quickly in my life. I was downloading 3 torrents and they were all getting 15 megabits a second the other day on a torrent. I downloaded a 4 gig movie in like 3 minutes. So, just pointing out.
That's
I'm joking.
How very nice of you.
Just like to say hi, Gray.
Hi, mate. I'm only pissing about.
So
hello, Gray. No, thank you for your disclaimer. Brilliant.
And the logos. And the flaming logo. The flaming logo's flamingly awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I've heard the one with the punch. But let's get on with the rundown. We've got to talk about Ready Player One, which is Willy Wonka in a dystopian future. And then we've got Facebook, which could cause a dystopian future. And then we're going to talk about Enter the Badlands, which is about Into the Badlands, which is about a dystopian future. So the theme of this podcast this week is dystopian future. So let's start off with Keith's review of Ready Player One. And anyone who turned around and said this is the best Steven Spielberg film ever, I need to punch, because you've clearly not watched Jaws.
I heard Schindler's List was all right as well.
Yeah, I heard Schindler's List was all right. It won some trophies of some sort. I can't remember.
No, it's not his best. It's the thing is, right, this film should be everything this podcast is about. It's about video games, it's about pop culture, and it's about geeky shit. I mean, it is pretty much
future.
And a dystopian future. We love dystopian futures on this podcast. So you would think this pretty much adds up everything we ever talk about. I liked it. It was good. It was a good 2 hours. It was entertaining. It's quite a good story. but it's got issues. And the first thing is the bad guy's played by the guy that was from Rogue One. You know, the bad guy in that, the one in white.
Krellick. I can't
Krellick,
remember the actor's name, but it's Krellick, I think.
So he's the bad guy in this. And the thing is, this movie doesn't have an identity. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a kids movie, a sort of teens movie, or a full-on R-rated movie. Because it has the characters drop the F-bomb, which gave it a 12A rating in the UK. I'm not sure what it's got in the States, but they do say the word fuck once or twice. Yet the bad guy can go from being quite sort of nasty to being very childishly nasty, like, you know, as if you're watching something on children's BBC or something. You know, is that kind of real
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, and it doesn't work because he doesn't have an identity, and then the ending to the film is very sort of stereotypically childishly happy. And
how old is the main character meant to be?
The main character in the book, he's 18. In this, he's undisclosed. He's still at school in the book. And in this, it's not really disclosed. In fact, there's quite a lot. It differs quite a lot from the book.
So when you say still at school, he's like last couple of years at school sort of thing.
I think the
High
book,
school.
If I remember rightly, the book quotes him as being 18, and he goes to school in the Oasis. There's nothing of that in the movie, because the movie gets straight into the quest, if you like, which is to hunt this Easter egg. That basically the basic premise is the Earth is you know, we're in a dystopian future. There's been energy crises, so all the people that sort of lived out in the sticks have all moved close to the city so they can get energy. And you've seen the poster where you see the traders stacked up on the top of each other because they're running out of space, and you've got all these trader park trash that came into the cities, and to sort of landed such a premium, they decided to pile the traders on top of each other. That's the basic premise. And nowadays, people get lost in the Oasis because, you know, they can't deal with real-world problems like global warming and all that kind of crap. So they get lost in this Oasis, and the Oasis was invented by this guy that dies. Now, in the book, he's a geek. In the film, he's played by Mark Rylance, because Steven Spielberg's got a real crush on Mark Rylance at the moment. Personally, I think he's overrated, but there we go.
He was bloody good in Dunkirk. He was practically a fucking chameleon. They describe him as.
I don't know. I just think he got that Oscar, that Oscar for that film Bridge of Spies, where he's in it for less than 5 minutes. And it really annoys me that he got the Oscar, because I think Sylvester Stallone was robbed that year. Stallone deserved the Oscar that year, and it really pissed me off. Rylance got it, and then Rylance was in the BFG, and I really, really disliked the BFG. It was a really bad version. It lost all of the magic of the original story and the rolled downness of it all, and it just became this. The BFG was this happy giant, and he was down, played by Rylance in this, and you know the guy needed to take some fucking Prozac. But
hence why it's called the BFG. Not
yeah.
It's not big fucking giant. It's big friendly.
Yeah.
So,
but not in that. Anyway, back to Ready Player One. The basic premise is that this guy dies, but he left behind an Easter egg hidden in the Oasis. And the idea is that our main character has to find it, and then if he finds the Easter egg, he gets given control of the Oasis. He basically gets to run the company.
Inherits it.
He inherits the company. Yeah. And as the Oasis is now like all over the world and everybody logs into it, he basically controls the world. And there's commerce that go on in the Oasis, so there's money in the Oasis and things like that. And although the film doesn't explain it, kids go to school in the Oasis and all this kind of stuff. But in the film, it gets straight into the fact that they've already found the first challenge, because it's 3 challenges. And if you complete all 3 challenges, you get to the final clue, which should tell you where the Easter egg is, and you then inherit everything. And of course, the bad guy runs this other company who wants to gain control of the Oasis. So he's got thousands of employees that all go into the Oasis and take part in this thing, and they're called Sixers. And basically, it starts off.
Sixers.
They're called Sixers. No, they're called Sixers. I can't remember the reason why they're called, but they're called Sixers because they are they're part of this rival gaming company. He wants to turn the Oasis into this really great big advertising board, basically.
It's because they're always on your 6, mate.
God.
Well, I mean, the sort of opening bit when they have this race, and he races in the DeLorean, which is pretty cool, and then he races through New York, and there's just loads of dropped in things there. There's a T-Rex, there's King Kong, and I didn't notice everything that went on in there. But the one thing that I noticed throughout this film is that one of the most important, pop culture directors of the 1980s was Spielberg, because he created E.T., Third Encounters and Jaws and everything else. And yet there aren't that many references to his own films at all. In fact, I don't remember seeing an E.T. Avatar. There is a T-Rex.
DeLorean was in there, so...
Yeah, but DeLorean isn't Spielberg. I mean, Spielberg was a producer on Back to the Future. It's not his film, it's Robert Zemeckis. Because
he was one of the executive producers of it.
But it was directed by Zemeckis. And there's a great thing in there because one of the power-ups he buys after winning the first challenge is called a Zemeckis cube. And basically you throw that cube and it reverses time by 30 seconds, which I thought was quite a nice little tribute. And anyway, we go through the film. There are loads of references in there. I mean, Serenity's in there. The Iron Giant's in there. There is a few nods to Star Wars, but they didn't really make any. They mentioned the Millennium Falcon, but there's no sort of Star Wars avatars. I think they would have ended up having to pay Disney a lot of money. Although there is a guy running on the creature you get at the beginning of Empire, the one that Han sticks Luke into. So there is one of those briefly, and that's in the trailer. You see that in the trailer as well. But anyway, I mean, spoiler, you obviously know how the film kind of ends. It's obvious how it ends, but Simon Pegg's in it, and Simon Pegg plays his the guy who dies partner, and you see him as a young character because they're researching this guy's life to try and work out where the Easter egg is. So you see these flashbacks with Pegg. So Pegg he's only in it briefly, really, but Simon Pegg's in it as well. But I think I need to go and see it again because there's hundreds of references in there, and they tinge on all the music, and they love every few seconds, every sort of few minutes, you get that Back to the Future. Remember that sort of Back to the Future thing? That's in there a lot. So there's lots of sort of musical nods as well. But I as I said, I have to go and see it again just to see all the pop culture references. But Serenity gets quite a cool cameo, and there's lots of there's something that's really obvious right from the start, which I think in the book it's quite a good twist, but in the film it's obvious because he basically you get introduced to his best mate in the Oasis. He's never actually met his best mate, but his mate in the Oasis, and you hear that, and his best mate's called H and talks through this sort of distorted voice, and very early on in the film, like
Red Dwarf H, yeah.
Not like Red. It's just called H. And it's you only see the avatar, and it's a big brute of a guy, and they distort the voice right from the beginning. And literally within 5 minutes of meeting his character, our main character Wade gives his name away, and H scolds him for sort of giving the name away. He goes, this might not be a girl; it could be like a 30-year-old, 150-pound guy living in a trailer in blah blah. And it's obvious because they're distorting the voice already on H that H might not be a bloke, And I almost thought that the minute I heard the distorted voice, I was like, that's not a bloke, that's the woman. And of course, it turns out to be a woman when they meet up in real life. Spoiler. I won't give everything away, but that's one of them.
You can't say spoilers after.
Well, people who regularly listen to this podcast know that I spoil the shit out of everything.
I'm just going to tell you the ending. And
I'm not telling you the ending.
Say, spoiler alert.
I won't say the ending. Halo's in there. Halo has a thing. Minecraft right at the beginning's in there. When they do an explanation of the Oasis, they show Minecraft world. So Minecraft is still alive in the in 2045 is when the movie's set. But, I did like it. It was fun. It's one of his better movies in recent years, but it's not a patch on when he was at his best. It's no Jurassic Park or E.T. or Jaws. And I was
trying to persuade the missus to go and watch this morning, but she watched the trailer and went, yeah, that's not really for me. And I was like, it is for me. I really want to see this. But hey, I can't twist her arm. So instead we're going to go watch Tomb Raider tonight.
I think you're a bit...
I've managed to twist.
Yeah, if I had to choose between them, I'd choose Ready Player One. I have to admit, it is better than Tomb Raider. No offense.
Although it's less video gamey, and she's not into video games at all. So it's a little bit actually. She probably doesn't know it's from a video game.
It's not as Ready Player One is not as video gamey as you think. I mean, there are a lot of gamer references in there.
Sorry,
I was trying to.
Hang on! Stop! It's called Ready Player One.
Yep.
Yes,
it's not as video gamey as you think.
It's not.
Just by the title alone.
And they're wearing virtual reality goggles.
Yeah, but you say, I'm not into video games. What I'm saying is, if somebody says I'm not into video games, they're going to immediately assume they're not going to get anything out of this film. And that's not true. It's not as full in your face, all about video games with video game references all throughout the movie. It isn't. And there aren't as many pop culture references as you are led to believe. It is far more story focused.
I was trying to tell her, we watched a film recently called Ender's Game. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he uses his gaming skills and whatnot into real life scenarios, and he was running simulations with his team and stuff like that, and it turned out actually there was a twist to that, which I won't say because spoilers, Keith. That's how you do it. But I was saying to her, it's probably similar to that in terms of it's not gamey. They're making it into more real life thing. So yeah, you'll see references, but yeah, I told her to watch the trailer. She did and went, yeah, it's not for me. So anyway, we're going to watch Tomb Raider later this evening. So I'm hoping that'll be good. Anyway, I'm curious as to what you thought out of 10, Keith.
I would give it a 6. Because I think it loses its identity a bit, and I think he almost made two films and sort of mixed them together. I think the bad guy could have been a lot stronger had he not had the childish moments. And I don't think this need. I mean, it's a 12A. It has the F word in it. This was not aimed at small kids. So I think either the studio basically said you've got to make this appropriate for younger people, or Spielberg kind of lost his balls halfway through. I don't know. But there is a definite identity issue in the film, in the fact that it feels like two different films at times. And I thought the ending was a bit twee. But there are lots of things in it to like. And there's a lot of video gaming references in it, and a lot of pop culture. As I said, there are lots of pop culture in there, and you do get, you kind of like, oh, that's cool. And when, as I said, when one of the characters turns up in Serenity, sort of firing the gun out the back of it, where you never saw really that in Firefly. It's like, oh, that's Serenity, that's awesome. And as I said, I think I have to go back and see it again, and I'm not sure if I would give it a lower score or a higher score. As I said, I've only seen it once, and it's not the type of film you can just watch once because there's so much going on in the background. It is very Spielberg, but at the same time, it's almost like it's Spielberg trying to do Spielberg from the 80s and not quite succeeding.
Spielberg trying to imitate Spielberg. But not
do you know what
quite
I mean? Do you know what I mean? He's almost like he's trying to relive the 80s without. He didn't reference any of his own films that much, and I think that was a bit of a letdown. Where the fuck was E.T.? Like, there should have been a fucking E.T. cameo in there, a big one, because it's like one of the big sort of pop culture movies, and it's just not there.
Yeah.
They make references to John.
They may not have been able to get the license to even do that because
There
E.T.
is
is so big.
It's his own movie. It's made by Alban Entertainment. He owns the damn rights to it. So
then he should have just plonked it in there. He should have had it, or maybe just at one point have a little boy riding a bike past the moon or something.
Yes,
iconic.
That would have been awesome as well. And the thing is, it's almost like he was too self-conscious of himself and almost scared to put too much of him because he would be accused of bigging himself up. It felt a bit like that. And you missed that. There is some great John Hughes nods, and there's a whole fucking 10-minute scene, which is a complete sort of thing to The Shining, and the Shining gags are brilliant. That whole scene is really good, and it is quite freaky. But then you've got this whole thing in the middle about The Shining, which is a very, very adult film.
Yeah.
And then you go back to this. It's kind of, again, you're referencing The Shining, which no fucking 12-year-old is going to understand. It's people like you and me that are going to know what The Shining is. And then you go straight back to this thing. And there's Chucky. There's a great Chucky moment where they're in the big battle at the end, and they use Chucky as a grenade. And it's really fucking funny because like you just hear this like, oh shit, it's Chucky. It's Chucky coming like, ah!
I remember for so many years, it must have been at least 10, 15 years where Chucky was banned in the UK because it was deemed so violent for us.
Yeah.
And during that period, I did order Chucky, what were they? 3. There was 3 DVDs, so Chucky 1, 2, and 3 in a pack. From the US, just so I could have it, and I kept thinking, God, at customs, if I can open it, if I can have a look, see what DVDs I've got, so I can't have my Chucky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've still got that.
But
they've unbanned it now, of course. But
yeah. It's just that typical thing. You've got all of those nods in there, and yet you don't make it even a 15 and just go with it. Do you know what I mean? This kind of film is going to be lost on anybody younger than that, really. Just, okay, yeah, it's got video games in it, but that's the only thing they're really going to understand. Because it's a massive 80s nostalgia fest.
Yeah. Well,
so,
now you've mentioned a few of those bits, I probably wouldn't take my kids who are under 12 to see it.
No, they would, because the Shining bit is quite scary if you don't.
Yeah.
I see the funny.
Well, the only thing they don't understand is the Back to the Future nods, but because they like those films.
Oh, you could play that entire chase race scene. That is awesome, and it's got Akira in it. Akira, they got the Akira bike in it, and it's got I forgot the name of them. The Japanese Transformers.
Japanese Transformers.
Yeah, the Japanese robot
Transformers
things.
are Japanese. Takara.
No. Oh, that's what they're called?
Transformers Takara.
They're not Transformers. They're like a Japanese...
Gundam.
Gundams. There's a Gundam in it. That's it. There's a Gundam in it that fights like this mega robot thing, and that's quite cool as well. As I said, there is a lot in it. You will like it. You should see it, because if you're listening to this podcast, you have to go and see this film because you like this shit, or you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. So I do recommend people go and see it. I can't give it a top score because there are things that irritate me about it, as I said, and there are things that could have been tweaked. I'm not sure it's Spielberg or the studio getting involved, but definitely go and see it. There's enough in there to get something out of it.
I'll tell you what, Keith, go watch it for a second time and then maybe come back and update us on second viewing, because the first viewing, you always like just trying to get a feel for the movie and just
trying to get a feel for the bottom of his popcorn bucket.
It was.
I didn't get to the bottom of my. I didn't get to the bottom of my popcorn bucket. The wife nicked it. I ate the lot. Ciao. Oh dear. Right, we should move on.
Okay, I'm going to talk about creepy Facebook. The reason I describe it as creepy Facebook is because I think that's the same way bloody Elon Musk described it as creepy Facebook. Now,
yeah,
I was having a lovely conversation with my friends on Friday about artificial intelligence and stuff. One of the things we brought up was Facebook and privacy. So I watch a guy called Tim Pool, and Tim Pool talks about these things, and he says that Facebook seems to be listening in on you. Now, they're not listening directly to your conversations, but they're using the sound on your microphone to determine where you are. So they can determine if you're inside a house, inside the office, inside a school, inside a restaurant, inside a retail outlet, or outside the park, etc., etc.
In your bedroom.
Yeah.
Sorry,
this is the funny thing is, right? So it can determine these things, and it also can listen for cues too. So say like you're in, say Curry's, which is an electrical retailer here in the UK, and you're standing next to TV, and TV is blaring out the Curry's branded piece of video
advertisement thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It can hear that. Yeah, it can't hear the direct conversation, but it can just hear enough of it to work out that that's the waveform that's associated with that. And it can also tell. Anyway, we had this long conversation. We talked about AIs. We watched two AIs arguing, which was quite funny, considering that at one point that they were saying that they were human but not human, and then they decided to end the human race between the two of them, which I found hilarious. Marcia and Vladimir or something, and they're two like Google HomePods. Anyway, we were watching that. Then we watched like an Alexa video, and the Alexa video was a little kid. Everyone's seen it by now. The little kid goes, play Digger Digger, and it turns around and goes, are you looking for hot dildo action and stuff like that? And it's fucking hilarious. With the parents like, no, get off. Anyway, we watched that video. My friend opened up his app, his Facebook app. First thing he had advertised on it was an advert for Amazon Alexa, which freaked him the fuck out because he was like, shit. We then opened up his thing and we checked it because the permissions tend to sit on Amazon Messenger.
Yes.
If you look at if you've got an Android phone, it's easier to spot all the permissions it asks for.
Yeah.
It asks for access to your microphone, all these bits. And then another friend turned around and said, look, every time you want to send a picture, you've got to go allow, disallow, just so you don't put these things on. But it seemed to be listening in, and it was really freaky, the fact that we were watching an Alexa video, and the first thing that popped up on the thing, literally as he opened it up, was Alexa, to which the three of us were like, fuck. He has no interest in Alexa. Seriously, he has no interest in Alexa. He genuinely doesn't. But the Facebook thing advertised in Alexa, so it's a bit weird. So it's not a predictive algorithm because he wasn't interested in buying it, because he watched it and the thing heard him in the background. So everyone at the party all pulled out their phones, went to permissions, and switched off all the permissions on the Facebook Messenger app, which also reads your conversation, also reads your text messages.
Was it Facebook Messenger or Facebook?
Facebook
Messenger
is the thing that does the listening and gives the information to Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. I can pull up the permissions actually.
Yeah, it asks so many permissions, it's ridiculous, and then it asks for control of things like your SMS. Yeah. Oh, we can do your SMS through here. But what it does is it takes that, and then it also steals information from the conversations you're having with someone else who hasn't given it permission to do that.
See, I've seen it do that on Android. I think that's a brilliant feature of Android. It doesn't do that on
iOS.
iPhone so well.
I'll let you know what app permissions the Messenger from Facebook app would like access to. Your calendar, your camera, your contacts, that's your phone contacts, by the way, location, your mic, your SMS, your storage device on your phone, and your telephone. Naturally, I've only got a couple of things on here. I've only got the camera and the storage allowed from that Messenger app. I recommend if you've got a Android phone to go check it out. You literally just need to go where your settings, and then you go to apps, scroll down to find Messenger, and when you find Messenger, a few down you'll see your permissions. You click that, and then you can tick and untick as you want. Yeah, personally, if I want to send somebody a message over Messenger and I want them to hear my voice, I want to leave them a voice message, then I can let it use temporarily the mic. Other than that, I've got it turned off, so I don't get the issues that Gareth just described. But our friend did, because he had it all on. Because when you install it, it goes, this app wants permission to this, and you sit there and go, okay, and you allow it all. But what it doesn't tell you is you don't have to have them all for the Messenger app to work as a message between two people. It doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Do you remember the day when that this Messenger app wasn't a thing, and if you wanted to send a message to your friend on Facebook, you could do it through the Facebook app?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. You used to be able to do that, and then they figured out they could get so much more data if they put this Messenger app on your phone, and they do use it.
Yeah, it's creepy as fuck, and I can understand why. If we go back to what we said last week, you're the product, and they're using that to get more out of you.
What about WhatsApp? Because they own WhatsApp, yet WhatsApp gets into trouble because of all this encrypted stuff. So, like, Brazil kept banning it because they wouldn't give access to the encryption, or they wouldn't give the government. It's end-to-end encryption.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So why do they own WhatsApp? Because it's entirely not their model.
Because they could.
Yeah, because they could, and they could get the information that they weren't getting on Facebook through that.
Because they own Instagram as well, don't they?
Yeah.
So you've got you've got your social media platform, but then you've got another two. So you've got one media is for groups of people to chat, and it's used a hell of a lot, WhatsApp. But then you've got people posting images of themselves doing different things, and you can get so many followers and all that sort of stuff on Instagram, and they own that. So anything really, it's not sacred.
It's ever so slightly scary.
It is, because all they're doing is they're building up this profile on you to sell you stuff, and then using algorithms and that to make predictions. It's like I've said before, I delete the Facebook app because I wasn't looking at it, and it was going, you've got 29 notifications, and I'd open it up, I have 7 notifications, you were lying to me, and it was like after that I went in the bin.
Yeah, I open up Facebook and it tells you about all these notifications, and some of them are them trying to sell me it. The notifications are Facebook trying to sell me a boosted post for Monkey Nut Punch, for example.
Yeah.
And I've got like 2 or 3 of them, and I'm going, well, look, if I haven't done it, Facebook, I don't want to do it. Fuck off.
No, I get those all the time.
I mean?
I get those.
I get them every time I log into Messenger.
And also, what narks me about Facebook isn't just that; it's the fact that top stories shouldn't be a fucking thing.
No, it should be chronological.
Should be chronological, and you should set it for yourself to be like that all the time. I want it most recent, so I can see what's happening.
That's what it used to be like when it
used to be.
When I first joined. That was what it was like.
Now Facebook will only show you what it deems you want.
Yeah,
which isn't always the right.
You know what I find funny is that I had a friend's birthday pop up in the feed, yeah, and I went to go write happy birthday. It was from 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Way to go, Facebook. It's like shit. Well, a bit late to say happy birthday now.
Yeah.
That's the one thing though. See, I forget people's birthdays. I'm useless.
Yeah.
I know roughly when Gareth's is, but I can never remember what date it is. I'm sorry, Nigel, I don't remember where yours is. I know
exactly when Gareth's is. This is the same day as my son's.
Yeah, I hate that fact.
Is that the 15th or the 16th?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's neither.
Well done,
are you 26? 27? It's in May.
Just don't. I don't want people know my birthday for crying out loud.
Okay.
It's neither. It's not that at all. You're not even remotely close.
But I'll be honest. Before I realised Gareth's birthday was the same birthday as my son, I couldn't remember his birthday.
Yeah, it's true. I can't remember Nigel's birthday. I'm dependent on the woman for that.
Yeah, yeah, same. I am dependent on the diary, which is the wife.
I'm dependent on my wife for that as well. And do you know what my wife uses to remember people's birthdays? Fucking Facebook. Oh, dear.
It has its uses. Let's be honest.
But calendar's useful too.
Yeah. But yeah. So back to the topic. Facebook. It has been exposed as being fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And it is creepy. But when we all signed up and we created a Facebook account, we did click yes to the terms and conditions.
Yeah, but
that was probably in there.
Those terms and conditions have changed dramatically since we signed up because we did it back in 2007.
Yeah, I did as well.
Probably right. Yeah,
we all did it in 2007 because that was the year that we all we were on Facebook playing fucking balloon tower defense with monkeys.
Oh yeah, at work.
Yeah, at work.
And Conquer. We were playing Conkers against each other.
Yeah, we were playing Conkers and that stupid Counter-Strike game. Do you remember that stupid Counter-Strike game? Gavin used to shoot us when we went online, and then we used to team up and get him back. It was terrible.
I just about remember it. It was such a shit game, but
yeah, it was a totally shit game. But it's just one of those things that with Facebook, it's like the other thing too. It's like if you sign in using your Facebook on anything, Facebook now has that data as well. So if you sign into Spotify, it knows all your tunes that you like.
And also, if you use a game like if you download a game from the App Store, iTunes or Android Play Store, and you use the Facebook login thing, that app now has access to the data it wishes to have from Facebook.
Oh, hang on. Here's a twist. It's not just that. It's the app, all your friends that you're friends with, it has access to them too. That's the bit that people are really pissed off at, is the fact that when you buy a block of data from Facebook, it's not just that, it's those bits. Now, Facebook gets a little annoyed because they said that data can't be taken anywhere outside, but they have been caught selling it outside. The first example was selling it to DNC via Obama. So he could do exactly what Donald Trump did with fucking Cambridge Analytica. But one's acceptable, one's not acceptable, I'm afraid. But it's always been like this. And as I said before, if it's free, you are the product. That's the long and the short of it. You are the product. It's quite obvious on certain games you download from the Android store or the App Store, where it just bombards you with adverts because you're the product.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, I think this is put a torpedo into the side of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg came out and he looked so slimy. He could like slide under a door when all this stuff happened. Apparently, the high courts in the UK have summoned him and he's refused to turn up.
He's sending an aide instead.
if the problem is if he does it 3 times, I'm sure that the court will arrest him under hate speech laws and throw away the key.
Yeah.
If only.
If only. But the long and the short of it is I think that Facebook is about to get fucked. So if you've got shares in Facebook, unless you're hedging it going down, sell them. Seriously, sell them. That's my financial advice this week, guys.
Sell your Facebook. Oh, don't sell them at the moment. You'll have to, because they would have gone. If you bought them recently, just before this came out, then you made
still
it.
Going down. The trick is to buy them because you want to short them. So,
It is. I mean, there is a lot to say about Facebook. But yeah, it's freaky, and they're not the only ones listening.
No, they're not. Google do similar stuff, but Google have got they've got tools in place so you can understand the data they collect on you. So, example, if you say "Okay, Google" and you ask it something, you can pop onto your account on Google, and you can listen to the sounds that they've recorded, and they give you the option to delete that along with your location history. You can pop in there, and it shows your location history and allows you to delete that too.
Is there any evidence of Alexa doing the same thing?
No, not at the moment. There's just the last thing I heard was Alexa was the creepy laugh. Do you remember the creepy witch laugh that they had? It would just go ha 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 all of a sudden because they were trying to program her. When you said something stupid, she'd laugh back at you. But the thing just caused her to go ha 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 randomly in the middle of the night. So you'd be like, all of a sudden you'd hear this cackling noise from like downstairs, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Turns out it's Alexa talking to herself.
Technically, your iPhone is always listening as well, because if you say, "Hey Siri," it will immediately.
Yeah. So the difference with that Siri's on board, not cloud-based.
No, it's cloud-based. All the process, all the processing. It's always been cloud-based. The process, Siri. Yeah, it does. Yes, it has since the beginning. Siri, if it doesn't work unless it has a connection to the internet, you switch off. Yes, because
we've turned it. I've played around with it when it's been off the internet, which you can't do with Google or Alexa.
Every time I've had internet issues, Siri won't work. It says you need to be connected to the internet.
Then Siri's really crap.
Siri's the worst out of all of them. I mean, this is why their HomePod is why they keep badging it as a smart speaker rather than a digital assistant like Alexa. I mean, it sounds amazing, but it's a digital assistant is rubbish.
Yeah, it just doesn't understand. It just hasn't got a clue.
I mean, the only funny thing.
It's like hiring a foreign maid to deal with your house. Clean that up. Yeah.
Because they did a sponsor deal with the Lego Batman movie. So for like a couple of months, if you went "Hey Pooter," it would respond with, you know, your lobster thermidor is in the kitchen waiting for you, sir, and things like that. Sort of lines from the Batman movie. That was quite funny, but it lost its appeal after about 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's.
And I did like the fact that when Siri first came out, it did have a sense of humour, but it's even lost that now. Because you asked Siri what the meaning of life was, it always used to go 42, which I thought was fantastic. But it doesn't even do that much anymore. I think it still does it once in 4 or 5 times of asking it. But it does freak me how these devices are listening. But go on.
I'll say on another note, my Google Pixel's camera is fucking ridiculously good.
Oh yeah, you've got that new Pixel.
Yeah, it does. You know what it is? It's because it uses artificial intelligence to clean up people's faces and blur the background. So it's like having a Cosmopolitan, and they've blatantly been airbrushed the buggery on Cosmopolitan. Yeah, it does that in a click, which is fantastic. You literally click it, it goes, well, I'm just going to process this, just touch you up, make it look beautiful and whatnot, blur the background out. It looks fabulous. It's just like,
I know you took a picture of me and I went, who the fuck's that? Hey, look, that person looks alright. That's not me.
Yeah, it's that person looks vaguely normal.
The portrait mode is quite cool. I mean, had it on the iPhone for a couple of years, although I would say it's okay. I mean, I still prefer.
No, this is different. This
has come along. Yeah, this has come a long way. I know that.
Leagues ahead. The worst thing is that we're sending people pictures over over WhatsApp yesterday, and we just got to the point we were taking pictures of each other.
Taking pictures of each other. Yeah, I saw the photo inception.
Yes, photoception. The funny thing is, my wife tried to do a selfie thing this morning and get people in the background because she was nearest the camera. The camera focused on her and blurred everyone in the background out. Which I thought was quite amusing. But, let me I'll send you some from the picture of Nige and send it to you, and you can go, wow.
I know, Keith. You may have to resist the urge to set it as your screensaver or your background. I know it would be difficult, but I request that you don't.
I'm setting pictures of my drone pictures as my background, which you liked on Facebook. I noticed the other day.
I can't remember.
Not me. I don't do Facebook.
No, Nice did.
Oh, okay.
Oh! What a sexy man.
Is that a good picture or not?
It's a very good picture. I mean, my iPhone Plus does that.
Not as good as this, mate.
But I would say that the edge detection on this looks better. Although, without seeing it with hair, you can't...
Oh, do you want one with hair?
Yeah.
So I sent you one with hair?
Because the iPhone 8, it does a better job of hair than the 7 does, but it's still not 100% perfect.
Okay.
Does your Pixel have 2 cameras on the back?
No, only needs the one.
He's doing it with the single lens. That's pretty smart because the iPhone tech needs to use 2 different lenses to do it to judge depth effectively. I know this is not great for a podcast, but I'm looking at an image of Nigel and his cat
photos
and somebody doing the rabbit ears at the back of his
that's
of
Gav.
his head.
Barbecue Gavin doing that.
With barbecue Gavin. That's a good picture.
See?
That is a good picture. This is one of Gareth's wife with a couple of friends, and yeah, you can see she's wearing a furry. Right, for people at home who cannot see this, she's wearing a furry one of those furry hood things, and you can see where it's having a problem dealing with the thing. You can see kind of like a halo around the hairs and things. But I tell you what, for a smartphone, that's seriously impressive. And actually, it is better than the iPhone because the iPhone it isn't as good as dealing with it here, but it's not perfect. But it is better than the iPhone.
For click, snap, job out.
Oh no, it's amazing. You can't get that shit on a £500 bridge camera. You know,
Okay. All right, so let's move from one dystopia to another dystopia to Nigel's final dystopia, which I think is Enter the Badlands.
Into the Badlands.
Into the Badlands.
Yeah, because you go into the Badlands.
All right.
Yeah. So it is a dystopian future.
Hang on. Before we bring this up, Nige turned around and said at the beginning of the podcast, I've got nothing to talk about. To which, on Friday, when he was with a mate, he was talking about this Into the Badlands thing. And it sounded very geeky, very sci-fi, very kind of fantasy-based. And he was like, no, I've got nothing to talk about. Talk about fucking Into the Badlands. He's like, yeah, that's a good one, actually. So, sorry to interrupt you. I just found that a novel. It's like kind of...
Yeah. Well, Into the Badlands thoroughly plays into what I enjoy, and that is good old martial arts and action. So, to tell you a little bit about it, you have to think it's set in the future. I can't quite. They don't actually say how far into the future, but guns have been outlawed. Loads of technology has become not usable. So it's pretty much back to how it was before guns were invented and stuff like that. So any sort of combat, it happens mano a mano, hand to hand, basically. I've just found out it's approximately 500 years in the future, and there was a world war which left civilization in ruins, basically. So even electricity, they don't really have that. So the story itself centers around a guy called Sonny, who is a regent. It's played by Daniel Wu, who is an Asian actor. I don't know what else he's in, but my wife recognised him from Chinese programs. He is the regent to a guy called Quinn, and Quinn is a baron, and barons control the lands. So there were about 7 barons, and if you imagine, if you imagine Europe is made up of many different countries, and so on a slightly smaller scale, you've got the Badlands, and each area, county, as it were, is controlled by a baron, and each baron has its own speciality. And this baron, Quinn, his speciality for his land is to mine poppy flowers, which
opium.
he for opium. So he harvests for opium, and he has people. Oh God, what do they call them?
Slaves.
Like slaves. They have a special word for them. I can't remember what they call it. So there you've got the normal folk, like the farmers, as it were, harvesting the poppy flowers and stuff like that. And then you've got people who look after his interests, and these are called clippers. Clippers are basically his army. And every time a clipper makes a kill, or a significant kill, they get a tattoo. And it's like when you do the number 5, where you stroke 4 lines and then you put a 5th one through the middle of them. Yeah. So they get a tattoo of each kill on their back. Now Sonny is the head clipper, and he's got many. He's got well over 100, 150 tats on his back, and he is one of the most feared clippers in the Badlands. And you see him in action, and the way he fights is just ridiculous. He's amazing. I liked watching it just to see him fighting. But obviously there are people who are similar in ability, not quite as good, but they are similar. And so each baron has his own clippers. Each baron has his own slaves who will do their bidding, and they're all at an uneasy pace. It's uneasy. There's a bit of to and fro in, a little bit of headbutting, and right from the outset, there is a woman called the Widow who took over, who was married to the other baron who died. He died. She took over, and everyone's unhappy with this because they feel that she just married him to take over, basically. And so it centers around, the first season basically centers around her trying to eliminate other people and basically attacking Quinn and his people. And they also, so there's a lot around that. Okay, so there's a lot of action because she's attacking people they're defending. Quinn sends Sonny out to scout, and he gets attacked, and he kills a load of people and all that sort of stuff. But it's all interwoven. So the story arcs, you've got this overreaching story arc which follows Sonny and somebody who a little boy he finds called MJ. Now,
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he's got MJ. Oh. Sorry, MK. Fucking Michael Jackson. MK. Sorry. Now, MK, he's probably around 14, 15 years old. But he is seemingly innocent and stuff like that. And Sonny comes across him fairly on in the first season, saves him, takes him back, takes him as his own. So he starts training him up, takes him under his wing. So then he realizes actually there's something lurking deep within MK. MK has a darker side to him where when he gets cut, his eyes go black and he has no control over his body at all. And he turns into a killing machine.
Hang on a second. Could you describe that without the killing machine? But he says it's like kind of he cuts himself and he's like, oh no, I can shoot myself.
Yep.
He's got no control over his body whatsoever.
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
He's got this dark energy inside him, and he becomes immensely strong, and his reactions are super, super quick, and nothing can touch him basically. So as soon as he's hit, hurt, cut, he turns into this thing. The darkness comes out, and he has no recollection of what he's just done. And Sonny finds out about this, and Sonny being Sonny, he actually has to defend himself from MK at one point, and he's like, what the fuck happened there? Because he injures Sonny, and you think Sonny would be able to hold his own against MK, who has seemingly no martial arts skills whatsoever. And yet MK goes to town, and he has nothing in return. MK just pretty much destroys him, and whenever MK comes out of this trance-like state, he doesn't remember a thing that's happened. So there's this big mystery around MK, what he is, what he's looking, how he's gonna control himself when this comes over him. And then you see these two go on a journey basically, because Sonny and MK, you don't know it at first, and they don't know either, but they both have this thought in the back of their mind where you've got this picture of what looks to be skyscrapers. And Sonny has it on, what was it? A pendant or a medallion. And MK had it on a compass.
Yeah.
So seemingly they've been told from an early age, but Sonny can't really remember. I think it was Sonny's parents, but Sonny was taken in by Quinn as a little one, as a fucking kid. So he's still held on to this belief, and so is MK. And then they eventually find out together that they both sort of were looking for this place, which seemed to be past this massive, massive wall, like the ice wall in fucking Game of Thrones, you know, really tall, can't get past it, but not made of ice, you know, man-made. And everyone has been told that they're in the Badlands. All the barons say to their people, you can't go past that wall because it's utter shit out there. You'll die. There's monsters out there, sort of thing. And so they decide that they want to get away and get out. And so that means for Sonny, forgetting to be regent, like he's got to get out of that. He's got to get out of this life that he's got. Take the person he loves, take MK, and get out of there. And so things don't quite go to plan, obviously, because they never do. And shit happens, and MK ends up in some sort of monastery in the second season, and Sonny ends up across in the well, not in the Badlands, but across the wall, sold as a slave across the wall. And so now he's got to try and figure out how to get back into the Badlands, because he wanted to escape with his missus, and his missus has been captured. I won't say by who, because if you want to watch it, it will become apparent. And he wants to then get back to her because she's preggers. You find that out very early in season 1. Yeah, and just shit, man. The martial arts everywhere is just astonishing. If you like martial arts, it's got a little bit of not science fiction, but a little bit of a fantasy tale on it because of MK and who he is. And you find out there's more of him And also, in the second season is where it gets good, by the way. Nick Frost is in it
Yeah, I knew that.
as a guy called Bargy. And he has his own story arc. And his character development is, I would say, fairly good. Because at first he's got no morals and he has no allegiance to anyone but himself, in it only for himself. And he meets Sonny at the start of season 2 as a slave when Sonny tries to break out of being a slave, basically. And he unwittingly helps Sonny escape after he realises that Sonny's a bit of a badass and he can actually kill the shit out of everybody. So I'd say Nick Frost's character is brilliant. He's got his typical, fairly serious 1 minute, and then there's a bit of humour. Bang, brilliant. Do you know what I mean by Nick by that for Nick Frost?
Yeah.
He's brilliant in season 2, and like I said, season 1, it's on and off, can be a bit slow, but if you watch season 1 to get through to season 2, it's 10 episodes. Season 2 is pretty immense all the way through. And I just don't want to say what happens because stuff happens every episode.
Does it happen in the last 5 minutes?
No, all the way through, mate. It's one of those where they chuck in little bits here and there and you're sitting there going, oh my God, I want to know what happens next. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like Game of Thrones in that respect.
Fair enough.
But just to let you know, and I've only just found this out, AMC have renewed the series for a 16-episode third season, which is actually out this month, April 22nd. Starts on April 22nd. And I've watched seasons 1 and 2 on Amazon Prime. So if you've got Amazon Prime, I can't say about the US, but it's on there and you can watch it for free, especially in the UK. Definitely worth a watch. Okay. So first season has 6 episodes. Only 6 episodes for season 1, 10 episodes season 2, and that's where it really kicks on. And then season 3, 16 episodes, will be 16 episodes when they start releasing them. But yeah, it has got a nice mix of a little bit of fantasy, not too much fantasy. So yes. If you're not really into the fantasy angle, but you like a little bit of action, yeah, definitely worth
This is
watching.
Available on Amazon Prime here, isn't it?
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So
cool.
First season, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, but then it for me it goes up to about an 8 for season 2. It really does kick on, and it does start answering a lot of the questions that were raised in series 1. So they're not hanging in the thread. If you know, they haven't unanswered them. There's no, oh my God, but you haven't fucking said anything about this. Not that I can remember anyway. Your memory's better than mine, so you'll probably still have a few. But yeah, that's my recommendation of the week. It's been around since 2015. I know it's not a new thing, but the new season is about to come out. So, worth it.
Okie dokie. All right. Well, Keith, is there anything you want to add?
Not really. I think I've covered my thing this week.
You've seen this, haven't you?
Yeah.
What? I've seen the first few episodes. Yeah. Thing is, I watch so much shit at the moment. I haven't got time to finish watching it, so I save things up for when I haven't got anything else to watch. But we've got sort of season. We've got all the sort of DC stuff and Black Lightning. I am loving that show more every episode. I have to admit, I really am. I know I sort of have criticised it, but I probably potentially criticise it more because I like it so much. It's really getting quite interesting.
I caught up with it. I did a binge watch stuff with it. It's like 3 episodes on the trot, and it's the thing with what's his name? Gamby in the ASA. It's kind of got me going. And his daughter's now got, like, his other daughter, the younger one, is now developing powers of sorts. Red electricity. She's got the ability to break expensive pieces of electronics.
The episode I saw, I think she attempted some strength and she kicked a tumble dryer across a scrapyard or something.
That's the older of the two daughters, yeah.
Is it? So the younger one's getting one as well. Right, that was the last episode I saw. That's probably number 2 or something. But yeah.
Have you you've heard that sorry, go on. I'll let you finish. Sorry, I apologise.
Sorry, and then the other thing about how they were doing illegal drug trials on the population there, and they're doing it again, but with this green light stuff to try and see if they can produce more people with superpowers. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good bedrock to base your TV show around.
Did you hear that if Legends of Tomorrow gets a season 4, the guy that played who's the demon hunter? Constantine is going to be on. Constantine's going to be signed up for a full season. If it gets it,
like Constantine.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Because they kind of got these magical characters all the time, and Constantine can literally just take him down quite easily. But,
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Flash hasn't been on for the last couple of weeks, so waiting for the Flash.
The one with the Irish West gets the powers.
Yeah.
I'm the Flash, Mary, not you, just me.
I'm not a lover of Iris West. I'm glad that they brought Wally back and Wally's on Legends. That's quite good.
It's annoying because Wally was becoming a really good character at the beginning of the season. He was demonstrating that he had knowledge and he could apply knowledge, like the thing with the Japanese, where he was talking Japanese, and the bit where he jabs the insulin into the leg of the person. It's like kind of he could figure shit out himself, and it would have been good to have him and Joe together for a whole season, so Joe could go on, have a quick look, it's in, out, back. But hey,
yeah, it was a shame they got rid of him, but I don't know. He works on Legends. Yeah, Legends have got him and it works. And, Arrow finally got rid of Thea this week, thank God. Really didn't like her much either. And she's gone off. So no more Thea Queen. So that's all good. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else really. As I said, I watched so much shit. Oh, I'll tell you what. Right, this is interesting. It's not really anything to do with what we have, but it's worth a note. We are sometimes quite critical of remakes and reboots and things that come back after a long while. Did you see the fucking ratings for Roseanne that came back this week? I mean, we're talking 1990s worth ratings. It got ridiculous, like 18.2 million viewers live, and so much so that I think Trump took credit for it as well. Even Trump jumped on the bandwagon. He tweeted something that basically implied it was he had something to do with it. But I can't get over that. That's a lot of people. It had more viewers than when it went off air back in the 90s.
Did it? Well, to believe it or not, there's, because of the way the media is, there's a gap in the market for people who kind of, how can I put it, Republicans, shall we say?
Oh, she's a Trump voter.
Conservative kind of thing. That's the thing, is that there's a market for that, believe it or not. That's why he got into power.
Yes, no, I know. And it is quite funny. It is still quite funny. Well, I used to watch it when it because they showed it over here when I was a kid, and and I probably didn't understand it back then. I mean, I remember seeing the final episode, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Dan died. They kind of forgot that
since the beginning of the season.
They forgot that and brought him back again, and they make a joke about it right at the opening scene of the new episode. But that he's not dead, which is good because you can't really have Roseanne without John Goodman.
Yeah,
he's in it, right?
Yeah. Oh, very much so. Yeah. And there's a number of lesbian jokes about Darlene and things like that. So if you ever watch
in it.
Yep, they're all in it. Most of them are in it. The guy that's in Big Bang hasn't turned up yet, but he will be in it at some point.
The guy from Big Bang, which one?
Leonard.
The Big Bang Theory.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he was. There's quite a lot of people that are in Big Bang because Sheldon's mum is Roseanne's sister. So the mum of Sheldon in Big Bang, not young
yes,
Sheldon.
She is. Yes, that's right. I didn't realise that. I remember. I've forgotten her name in Big Bang, but yeah, she was in it. She was Leonard's love interest and also Howard's love interest for a little bit. Well, she just shags around basically. Yeah. I can't remember how Darlene was in Roseanne. I was a bit younger back then.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah, that's right.
It's just quite surprising in modern times how many viewers it got, and I like that it did. It got more viewers, as I said, than when it went off. Any program to get over 10 million viewers these days, you're doing bloody well. To get 18 point whatever it was, and that's not with all the repeats and the figures that were including on playback and record and catch up. That was live viewers. That's something. So that show is going to come back for a couple of seasons, I think.
Okay. And on that note, I think it's time we end this podcast.
Yes.
I've been Gareth from Monkey Nut Punch.
Live from a field somewhere in Wales. Not saying anything about
Live, yes. In a field, a house by the sea.
Nigel, don't mention anything about sheep.
I promise I won't.
I could make a comment about eating dogs.
That's Vietnam. That's not Thailand. That's Vietnam. Thailand doesn't. Thailand just leaves them in the road.
If it has 4 legs and isn't a table or a chair, they'll eat it.
Not in Thailand, they don't. In Vietnam, they do. I've seen lots of them. But yes, all right, fair enough.
So, on that note, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
For God's sake, he did it again. Just say goodbye from him.
And you'll hear from us in the next podcast. Goodbye.
Patty, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for downloading the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter @Monkey Nut Punch. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Monkey Nut Punch.